Chapter 15. What will happen now? Will they meet the others back up again? Or are they just left alone and have the others gone home? Chapter 15. Give me a minute, Aaron says when we are back in the corridor. He sits down on one of the tiny chairs, the sides thin as the bones of a wrist. What little colour Aaron had in his face, whatever health he had regained from the few days of Newell's cooking, has vanished. What a bitch, I say, and it's such a ridiculous understatement that he can't help laughing, a dry, exhausted laugh, but a laugh all the same. There's silence between us as the carriage clock ticks rapidly, like a mosquito. He raises his head to look at me. You don't think I'm just manipulating you or something, do you? Saying whatever to get you on my side. I think about this as seriously as I can. I don't know. I have my doubts sometimes, if I'm honest. Aaron flinches. That's fair. He twists at his fingers. Remember when I told you about how, when I was really young and everyone thought I was this god prodigy. It means a prodigy is like somebody is an apprentice. And I was always paranoid that maybe I didn't mean it, that I was lying to myself and to everyone else. You said, what if God knows I'm faking, right? What if God knows I'm faking? He breathes in. And now I'm like, what if I'm faking again? What if my thoughts aren't my thoughts, but just like the thoughts of the group I happen to be part of? Dory's words came back to me. What must be like in that brain of yours? I'll level with you. Aaron, I say, and then stop, because I have never instinctively shortened Aaron's name before, like I would with Phi or Lil. He is surprised too, but doesn't say anything. I'll level with you sometimes. I think you are full of shit too. Sometimes I think that we are crazy to hang out with you, given everything you've done to us, especially Rue. I mean, Jesus. I trail off briefly and realize that I'm not helping, but I also think I continue inelegantly, You believe terrible things and you benefit from believing terrible things, and you gave up those benefits. I mean, you don't have a phone or any money or a place to live. You might get deported. So you must be serious. Why else would you be here if you weren't serious? It's not as if the children kicked you out and you had no place to go. You left, right? He nods tightly, his mouth a thin line. And then I think I have some pretty awful thoughts too, Like I suddenly remember the other night, the why don't I throw my phone out of the window moment. I shake my head, trying to banish it. Like sometimes I think if people knew my inner monologue, they would hate me. But I guess it doesn't matter what you think in the end. It's what you do. Aaron's gaze is focused on me, his body language shifting, his hands clasping on the arms of the chair. He is coming back to himself. It is terrifying, he says finally. It is genuinely frightening how good you would have been in the children. I'll bet, I sigh. Come on, let's get out of here. The 5 of them are waiting outside the door, and Fiona is on the stairs, holding Manon's damaged ankle. We come out of the corridor to a barrage of questions. Where did you guys go? You disappeared. It was like you evaporated. Did you go to the lodge? Did you see the same girl again? Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you feel okay? We are fine, I say. We talked to Dory. We are fine, though. I feel slightly guilty, given that they have all clearly been so worried, and we didn't exactly rush in getting back. We were both so spooked, though, particularly Aaron. The old adage about putting on your own oxygen mask first comes back to me. That we needed that 5-minute pause before rejoining the gang. Maeve, Noella says sternly, you must tell me exactly what she said. It was typical Dory, Aaron says, vague and very confident, that she's doing the right thing. According to her, no one is starving themselves. It's all like Lent or something, just normal spiritual fasting. Her main thing with us, I think, is that she wants us to fight and separate. She knows we are most powerful as a group. She was trying to turn me against Aaron, even in the room, as she was trying to turn Rue and Aaron against each other. And what about the housekeeper? Well, Manon asks, did she talk about her conjure not working? No, I say. She had tarot cards, though, and she talked about, I don't know, learning things. Which cards? 2 of Wands, Page of Pentacles. Kind of boring, I think, again. That's another 2-card spread. Most people do 3 minimum, right? Do you, Fi? Yeah, mostly, Fi says, shrugging. Did you see anything else? Anything we can feed back to Paola? I suddenly notice Paola perched on the banister, listening, or at least looking like he is. No, just the inside of her office. I noticed something, Aaron suddenly says. I looked out of the window. There were trees outside in the window, quite distinctive trees. I was dimly aware of the trees, but hadn't noticed anything distinctive about them. Go on, Nuala urges. They were old, no leaves, of course, but blown sideways, like a claw. Lily opens her bag and takes out a sketch pad, and Aaron draws a tree. It does look like a claw, the bark bent to the right and the branches like the talons. Hawthorn, Nuala says. They are hardly, and they can grow anywhere, but they grow to the right, where there is a lot of wind. She pauses, meaning it's probably coastal. Coastal, Rue clarifies. Kilbeg City is at least 40 minutes from the coast, and when the county's coastline is ragged and fast. I notice a shimmer of raindrops on Rue's shoulder. Do you go outside? I was going out of my mind with worry, they responded. So I walked around outside for a bit. I told myself that by the time I came back, you would be home safe. I reached my hand out and touched their damp hair, curling frantically as it dries. It wasn't raining, I suddenly say. At the lodge, There was no rain on the window pane. The rain sometimes skips the coast. It's a microclimate out there, Nuella says, then turns to Fiona. If Paola sets out tonight, could you find somewhere coastal with the driest soil? With the bent hawthorn trees like Aaron's drawing. Fiona motions to the magpie, who flies to her shoulder. She strokes his feathers with her thumb and murmurs something, her eyes unfocused. Then she goes to the window, pulls it up, and allows Paola to swoop out. We all watch him as he disappears into the darkness, each of us with our own gift, each of us a little jealous of Fiona's. We head back to Nuella's house, all of us too wired to go home and all too aware of the Christmas holidays to want to stop. We stop to get fish and chips on the way and arrive at Nuella's drive, our arms heavy with greasy paper bundles. Sometimes is obstructing Nuella's driveway. Something is obstructing Nuella's driveway, something lumpy and difficult to make out in the darkness. For a brief, horrifying second, I'm sure it is a dead body. But whose? Lorna McKeon's squirrel girl. I do a quick head count. We are all here, so no one in the core gang, a family member, no. Not Joe. Oh, my parents. Not Tutu. As I get closer, I see that they are separate packages, and my first thought is, so they decapitate the body then. And then I'm closer and I see they are gifts, Christmas gifts, wrapped up in paper, food hampers covered in cellophane, a box that looks like it's filled with wine bottles. Before I can even vocalize that I think it's a trap, I hear Nuella groan. Oh, for God's sake, she says, Manon. What? Manon says. What have I done? You know. Everyone who is not Nuella and Manon immediately feels awkward, knowing we are about to witness a family spat, whether we want it or not. Our paper packages and chips burn our hands while our faces turn numb in the cold. Can we go inside? Or, Lily volunteers. There's cheese, Fiona says. French cheese. You shouldn't leave it out here, Nuella. The foxes will take it. Manny, Nuella says sharply, did you tell him where I live? Yes, of course, I had to, Manon says, not sounding remotely sorry. He's my father. He wants to send Christmas presents. It will be my first Christmas without him, and he's lonely. Lonely, Nuella exclaims, with the sourness that feels incredibly uncharacteristic. Lonely? I have had 16 Christmases alone in this house, Manny, and not by choice. Yes, by choice, Manny snaps. Yes, very much by choice. I have a key, Aaron whispers, and we all carefully walk around mother and daughter, avoiding the hampers like they are landmines. And that was chapter 15. Wow, so we're getting to see the family side of mother and daughter. I wonder what's going to happen. Take care. Bye-bye.